Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Open the Door with Grizzly and Barb Hartman.
Hey, everybody.
What's going on, Barb?
Well, we have a fun show today. Look at all the people in the chat. That's so awesome.
Yeah, they're starting to stack in already.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can go ahead and say hi.
Standing Stones, Catherine.
Boss, Marty, hi, Catherine.
Aussie Sue, Roger, Yolanda.
Standing Stones, hi. He said he's been waiting for this for months. That's awesome. Rebecca, hey, Rebecca.
And the Nana Boss.
Yolanda. Did we say hi, Roger, Dawn? Who else? Wow, yeah.
Interesting lineup, don't we? Hey,
Russell. Hey, Russell. Cool.
Yeah.
So, today we have Brian Barber. Now, if you are a longtime viewer or interested in all the shows that Grizzly has about Bigfoot, which it's extensive. I just want to say something quick. Did you all see the announcement that Grizzly on the Hunt is number 4 in Wildlife, right? Wildlife podcast.
Yes.
Like out of millions of podcasts. Like that is
I couldn't believe that. I got the notification. Yeah, I was like, "Wow, really?" At first, I thought somebody was pranking me. I'm like, "Oh, come on." Right?
Nope.
But I think this makes my 513th show.
Wow.
I just got off another show out of UK before I did this one, so I actually lost count. I had to go back and count them. So I'm trying to keep up with them, but hello, Barb the Sniffer. The Sniffer. Unbelievable.
I said
we're already going in the ditch. We're not even there yet.
I did say to Rebecca, it's kind of funny though, because when I was young, I was younger. Well, young. I was always like, everything smells, and so my dad always called me like super sniffer or the nose. So get it.
Yeah, that's funny.
But so let's without further ado, let's bring Brian out.
Brian, welcome to the show. Come on down. How are you doing there, sir?
Good. How are we doing?
Wonderful. Nice to have you. Long time no see.
Yes, and nervous. There's some heavy hitters in here.
Oh well,
they're still stocking up and coming in. So I'm glad to have everybody. We got a lovely audience. Hello, Don. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you. Everybody else.
That Brian the Scat Master. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna start already.
But you know what?
Hey man, let me tell you something. Yeah, you're right, Barb. I mean, he does deserve the title.
Dedicated to the post, or to the your research, having that in some scat in your freezer. Whoa,
that may become valuable someday. You never know. I mean,
let's get the elephant out of the room then. Here it is.
There it is.
Here it is.
No, he did not. He just
everything.
Dropped the mic right there on the show, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. There's about 2 pounds in here.
About 2 pounds. Did you weighed it? Oh my Lord!
Hey, crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this back in the cooler before it thaws and I get smelled out of it.
Oh well, I bet it's a lot of Christmas trees. It's sweet and low box, and on top of that, I'm never gonna look. You know what? I think that's what I put in my tea. Yes, I think it's what I use in my tea.
What? Oh,
sweet and low. Yes.
Okay. I'm like,
every time I reach my sweet and low, I'm gonna think about him now. Hey, crazy witch. So unbelievable. I'm gonna have nightmares now every time I see a sweet and low commercial.
I always thought I would leave my mark in the fitness world, but here I am going to be leaving the peanut butter kid or the Long Cassidy or something.
Hey, we're sweet and low. I want a percentage of that now. He flashed it on the show. So look at Russell. Absolutely, Russell. Russell's dying from laughing. I can see Russell right now laughing pretty hard. So crazy with this. Congratulations.
Right.
So thank you.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
I want to ask everybody, and I know it's something kind of new, but other podcasts do it. Is if you can try to put your questions, any questions that you have in all caps, or at least put like question in all caps, because it just helps us to flag, kind of flag the questions. Because I know you guys like to chat. We encourage that. We love it. We love your comments, but it just helps us if you have a question you really want answered. And I know that there's going to probably be a lot of questions for Brian, and he's very welcome to them, right, Brian? You said you're welcome to questions. Yeah.
Throw them out there.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, I'll try to flash the questions too for Barb and Brian, and so when they monitor their screen, they can see them. Because I've got a 37 next to me and a 32 to my left, so I'm monitoring a lot of things, and they probably don't see it. That's why I'll try to flash them sometimes. So yes.
Yeah, I try to, like when I'm trying to I want to listen to what the guests, and I don't want to, and I feel like it's distracting, if you're kind of interrupting the guests, if they're in the middle of a thought. Oh, hey Judy. Hi, Judy.
Judy, welcome to the show.
Yeah, that's great to have you. So you are from Michigan. And like I said, I don't want to go a lot into what you covered in your interview it was on Rolling the Bones and Rattling the Cage with Grizzly Channel, right? And that was on April 30th. So it's on Grizzly's channel. So if you haven't seen it, please go back and watch it. It's amazing. And it'll kind of fill in any questions that you would have. So when, Brian, let me see, you said that you've been interested in Bigfoot since the early 70s, right? Is that what you kind of, and can you tell us real quick, like what started that? You told us about at your grandparents' house. What?
Yep. The woods, and my uncle actually told me a story too, that when he comes home from Japan, he wants to go out with me to face some fears because he got lost in those woods, those very same woods.
Oh, wow.
For about 8 hours. And for 6 of them, he had something brown just keep popping in, popping out, and followed him around till he got to the edge of the wood line.
Wow.
So he had an experience he didn't talk about for a while. And then most of the woods you could go back in and everything was fine. But as soon as you made off to another trail, there were never any birds. Half the time the dog wouldn't go with you to walk. And so it was just kind of an in-family joke. It was Bigfoot or bears. Even though Lake Ann didn't have bears back then, it was what it was. And the one night when my grandma was home alone with the dog, it was raining. The German Shepherd ran under the bed, which would chase bears normally, but ran under the bed. There was a flash of lightning, and she saw in the window a huge shadow that filled the entire window.
Oh my God.
So she grabs a shotgun after she calls my grandpa, who was a dispatcher for Benzie County, and he brings the cavalry out, and they're able to take a 17-inch cast of a bear footprint. So
wow.
Human type bear footprint. I see bear footprint and it gets all kind of goofy, but
yeah.
So,
wow.
And then after that, I was watching In Search Of, and those episode came on with Leonard Nimoy and the Patterson-Gimlin film. And I pointed to the TV and I'm like, is that what's at Grandma's? And my dad was like, yep, that's what's out there.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So,
and this is in Michigan, right? It's in Michigan. I don't know if we said that. Yeah. Is where this
Benzie
happens.
County, Michigan. Most of this happens in Benzie that I've experienced so far. So,
right. Okay.
And if you go back and look, Benzie's a hot spot.
Oh, all right. That makes sense then.
Speaking of Val actually sent me a picture. So he's got it somewhere where they compared a Bigfoot from downstate to a Benzie County Bigfoot cast. And the Benzie County one was like 4 inches bigger.
Oh, wow. So you got
bigger up here for some reason.
Yeah, big, more of the patty type than probably, like you said, that's what it. Yeah. So then you told me that when you were 16, you actually had your first face-to-face encounter. Can you tell us about that real quick?
Yeah, I was coming up. It was County Road 669, and I used to love midnight drives to clear my head, throw a little Boston in, and just drive. So it's probably midnight. And I went to come up around this big corner, and halfway up the corner on the guardrail, I could see this huge, looked like a big bag of garbage, like a massive bag of garbage, by the railroad guardrail. Sorry.
Okay.
And as I got closer with my high beams on, I thought, oh, wait, it moved. That's a bear. I'm going to get to see a really big bear. And then probably within 15 feet, I had to come to a stop because it didn't move. And I got my high beams on. And then this thing literally just stands up and squares off to my car.
Whoa.
And so I am looking at this thing, and I can see from about here down. I can see two big yellow eyes up here, but I can't see the face. I could see this massive chest, massive shoulders. I mean, the shoulders were literally, I had a 79 El Camino. And if you put two of me in there, that's how wide the El Camino was. And his shoulders were that wide. And I say he because he's hanging almost on the top of my car. A little manhood showing. And I went to hit the horn, but something was screaming in my head, if you hit that horn, he's going to pull his car apart. Well, I'm sitting there looking at it, and it felt like an eternity, but it was probably 5 seconds, maybe a little. Mm-hmm. And it literally just turned, and it didn't hop. It just stepped over the guardrail and was gone.
Wow. Wow.
So that was in August of 87.
Okay. Oh, my gosh. And you were 16. Yeah. So, and you were by yourself when that, yeah. Did you get a pretty good look at it?
Yeah. I mean, as far as the chest, and I'll never forget those shoulders. The hands were almost past the bottom of my hood. So it was a really bizarre length of arms.
Yes.
Because even when I stand in front of my car, my hands are almost, and here, this is 2 or 3 feet taller.
Yeah, right.
And the hands are hanging down.
Yeah. And so what color was it? What color was its hair?
Brownish with maybe hints of black. Is it midnight? So in the high beam. So it just depends on how it's black.
What you saw. Yeah. Did it have, did you see the skin, any skin on its face? Like, or was there any skin exposed?
I couldn't see the face. It was from here down where the headlights cut up.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Just enough of the eyes to.
My gosh. That's just incredible. Wow.
It looked like 2 softballs hanging in the air.
Wow. Okay. So we'll kind of fast forward to, did you say it was 2020 when this happened with what you went over with Grizzly and Val? Is that right? It was in 2020?
That's when we started. I didn't start the peanut butter until 2021.
Okay. All right.
So because it took me a few months to go back after that first initial encounter there.
Oh, well, all right. So tell us about that. Yeah, briefly. Like what happened?
Well, my friend Lance told me about, I was on the board, looking into the Bigfoot more and more and more, and was lucky enough to talk to Lance Eby. And we got to be friends. And he's like, well, you know what? If you really want a Bigfoot experience, if you're serious, go to this place.
Oh, wow.
So I'm thinking, all right, I'll give it a shot. I'll get skunked. I don't care, but it'll be fun. And I took a friend of mine who, we've known each other for 30 some years. And I took her. She's a total non-believer. She thought I was full of bunk, but she was bored. So why not go for a ride? So we go park, and we're walking down this trail, and I'm pretty shy, so I don't like to do like the whoops and howls. And I thought, I'm gonna look like an idiot out here if somebody hears me. So I would clap twice. And so we start down this trail and, clapping twice here and there, not hearing anything. No birds or anything either. It was completely silent. It was kind of reminiscent of back in Benzie. And then I get to a point, I'm taking some pictures along the way, and I look over to the right, and it's like, man, that would be a really cool spot for someone to sit there and watch everything going on. So I took a picture of that. And then as I took 2 steps up that hill, it sounded like 2 catcher's mitts hit twice. And I froze. I looked at her and I said, it takes hands to clap, right? And she's like, yeah, I want to go home. So, because it was loud. There's no way I could repeat it. And so we started to walk out. And then once, I think they figured, okay, we scared them, because then all of a sudden you would start hearing a little more whoops. You started hearing tree knocks. And then what really got me was, we got about halfway up the hill, and all of a sudden the chain gate was rattling where my car was parked.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's scary.
Not only they're behind us and to the side, but now they're ahead of us. And I literally put my keys in her hand. I said, just go. Keep walking, let's go. And I turned around and took a picture, and I looked the picture up, and I could see a dark shadow behind the tree. Oh, wow. That was when I said, okay, now come on, let's up the pace a little bit and let's go.
Yeah.
And by the time we got there, left, everything's obviously fine because I'm still here. But
yeah.
yeah, it validated because then I sent the pictures to Lance and he looked, and where I was walking, you can see two big black eye sockets with the brow ridge,
Yeah.
and a little swing top of the branch.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's why he let you know he was there. He says, you were
Yes.
walking forward. So he was.
That's
So
neat.
it took me about 6 months to go back.
Okay. All right. And then, so did your friend go with you, or was she a believer after
Yeah,
that?
she still, yeah. Actually, that totally convinced her.
Okay.
She still goes with me to this day sometimes.
Oh, good. Cool. Yeah.
So
All right. So,
somebody to validate what I got going on.
yeah, that's cool. It is. It's good to have. Well, and plus they say, you really shouldn't be in too deep into the woods right by yourself anyway, for variety of
Yeah.
reasons. So then in 2020, then, so when you start, what did you start to, what was your thought process? Like, I'm going to start a gifting or try to get a, like a relationship.
Yeah. I thought, let's try something and see what happens.
Mhm.
And
we can still see you. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just like when I know that happens. It's like, whoops.
If you see me just automatically wave like this, it means my screen probably went.
Okay.
God, I have to look back at my pictures because I don't think I started with. Yeah, we did. Started right off the bat with peanut butter.
That's okay.
And
yeah.
then the jar come up missing.
Okay.
So
And then the what? The what?
Do you have a jar to show people how big they are?
My
Look,
gosh.
ladies and gentlemen.
they're 4-pounders.
4
And you can see there's not,
pounds.
and there's not a mark on them.
And so how many of those would you put out at a time?
Oh man, anywhere on an average 6 to 9.
And that was for how long? When would you go back?
20. Well, it started off with just 1 or 2. Yeah, that's a lot of peanut butter. I start back and thinking about it. It's like, whew.
You
That
would
was
send
a
a
lot of
photo, and then a couple photos. I don't know, Grizzly, can you pull that? It's a photo of a peanut butter jar with like something like, if you said a trash panda, if a raccoon or squirrel got at it, and what that looks like.
Yeah.
And then if you can show us, can you find that one? And then one that
Okay, your message.
it was in just from this afternoon or this morning maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just between you and I. Our PMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
PMs,
huge
whatever I
difference
call
between
them. Let's see here. All right, Exhibit A.
All right.
Yeah, see, Trash Panda reached down in there and gobbled everything up. And there were pieces of the lid all chewed up around it. The lid wasn't in one piece.
Okay. All right. And then we'll see what the
here, and I'll blow it up a little bigger. Okay. Let's see here. Where's my other screen here? Where all my Facebook went away.
Uh-oh. Well, anyway, yeah,
there we go. Now I'm going to blow it up. So is that a better picture now?
Yeah. So that's like, yes.
Yeah, they never get it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that's clearly something. And then, now, like you said, the lid was missing. Did you chewed up missing?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Should be right
and
after.
Then Exhibit B.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. And so that's how you would get them back. That is just incredible.
Yeah. And sometimes that would happen overnight. They would be that clean overnight.
Whoa.
It's like I even tried, scraping a jar out and putting it through the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how many people try cleaning a peanut butter jar, but it's no easy task.
It's not. And I
have, thank you. I even did a spoon and a butter knife and all that. So, yeah.
So, okay. So you started with 1 or 2, you said, and then you're up to how many did you say? Look.
Up to 12 at one point, depending on how many they took.
So cool.
Or disappeared, I should say. I don't know who took them.
And then how often did you go?
During the summer, during the summer, 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So then
You
what
should go
happened?
stocking
I
peanut
know
butter.
it's incredible.
I know my car would have been paid off with that peanut butter money, you know.
So then what happened that you had to stop? Is that right? You had to stop going because this was
Yeah, I got cleanups here for this one because what happened was I got sick. You know, I had the bug,
okay. Yeah.
and so I missed 3 weeks.
All right.
And after the first week, apparently, uh, the natives got a little restless out there. And then they got a little more restless. And then when I started back 3 weeks later, um, my friend who goes with me was there, and we just met. And they got her license plate number and left a card on her. Actually, showed up at her house
Oh wow.
because my truck had the plate, but it was inside the window.
Okay.
So they had cameras out there taking pictures of the license plates.
Okay.
So they got her plate. They let her know, hey, you're not in trouble. We're looking for Brian. So they knew me by name.
And who was this? Who was this?
The DNR.
The DNR. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
One
I
of
don't
the
want to figure
natural
out.
resources,
Yeah.
like fish and wildlife people.
Yep. Conservation officer.
Because it's on
Right.
it's on that land, on that land. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So because one side of the road is complete conservancy, the other side is all other private property.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I had talked to the middle neighbors before. You know, we had a good conversation, so they had a good idea what I was doing. You know, they just because at one point where I was getting a whole bunch of stuff happening, it's where I found the 23-inch tracks that I found in the dirt.
Wow.
Found out that was private property. I didn't know that. I thought that was state land. So they informed me, but we had a good conversation after that. We cleared the air and everything. So they said, just keep whatever you're doing on that side of the road. We don't care. Well, then, so after
Brian,
that,
let me just real quick. I'm sorry. Standing Stone said, I'm supposed to ask you about getting them back with the lids on, but the wrong lids because there were dates on them. Is that?
yeah,
is that
DNR got those.
Wow. Oh my
So
gosh.
because how that conversation went was, we're calling because I was feeding the bears.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
The wildlife and the bears were harassing
Oh,
getting into the neighbor stuff.
Oh.
So it's like, okay, and it goes on for minutes. And I asked her, I said, is this being recorded? And she's like, no. I said, okay, well, in the 2.5 years I've been there, I've never seen a bear track, never seen scat, never seen a marking. And bears don't leave 23-inch prints and throw logs at my truck. And she just went, excuse me? And I said, no, that's all I'm throwing out there, And I said, so what kind of trouble am I in? And she goes, I just want you to clean up what you got, stop feeding the bears. She says, otherwise, if you keep feeding them, we're going to kick you out.
Oh, okay.
So that's where that ended. And then about a week later is when I talked to the neighbor that I had a decent relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
And they came right out and told me that, sorry, we had to do this because of the one down the road that you don't get along with. And it started the second week I was gone. They were chucking something was throwing peanut butter jars into the yard, and the motion lights were coming on.
Oh my gosh.
And 2, 3 in the morning, motion lights coming on, and they watch the camera footage, and here comes a peanut butter jar bouncing through the yard.
That would be scary.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
And then the second week, the guy showed me the photo. He wouldn't send it to me, which I don't blame him because I probably would have showed it. But the neighbor who's really mad at me and still mad at me with good reason, caught a picture of one peeking in his window, little girl's second-story window.
Oh my gosh.
Second story.
Yeah,
Oh.
second story that was peeking in the window.
Oh, which would have put it at how tall do you think? Just an estimate.
9+.
Oh wow.
Just because of the way the hill goes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow.
So, which I thought horrible. I mean, that kid could be,
But anyway, we appreciate that, and I get it. But
yeah, so that's where the feeding stopped. And
yeah.
As far as the lids, the DNR asked me during that conversation, well, we got a whole bag of your jars. Do you want them back? Technically, they're yours. And I'm like, well, are they all chewed up? And she goes, well, some of them are, but some of them aren't. Some of them are in perfect condition.
Wow.
I said, okay. And she goes, but I got to ask you. She says, why did you put one date on the top and one date on the bottom? I'm like, what are you talking about? And she says, the jars that have lids on them have one date on the top and one on the bottom.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, well, you just told me all I need to know. I don't need the jars now because I got dozens of them here. So,
Right. And bears do not do that I'm aware of.
You know,
Wow.
I saw some trick bears hunt some horns and ride a bicycle, but I don't know about a peanut butter jar.
Yeah. What other types of ways were these bears harassing the neighbors? So they're throwing the peanut butter jars in the yard, peeking in the window at the one person's house. And what else did they do?
That was all I got.
Okay. Yeah.
Now,
So-
one neighbor, and correct me, had they put their house up for sale, didn't they?
One down across the street that I don't know. They did sell the house.
Okay.
Yep, I had never talked to them. They were the ones that one day while I was sitting up there, I heard a whoop, and then a huge dog across the street, the one that had the house, dog starts barking. As soon as the dog shut up, I hear another whoop, and then the dog starts barking. This goes back and forth for 5 or 6 minutes, and then finally the guy who had the dog I don't know where he shot in the woods or up or what, but that ended that conversation. But I mean, whatever's making that whoop was intentionally trying to get that dog going.
Yeah. Right. Wow.
So but then that person did sell that house. So
Okay. Which could be, I mean, this could be
it
related
could
or some just,
yeah,
coincidence.
it could be pure coincidence that,
Yes. Yeah.
because the one, I wish I could find the hunter. There was a hunter out there in 2021 that had a tree stand, had trail cam, and I went up there 2 or 3 weeks in a row, saw his stand, tried to stay out of view of his camera. And then I go out there the next week and the tree stand's laying on the ground and it's just twisted like a figure eight.
Oh, wow.
I thought,
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody got mad at him. And then the next week would have been 4 days later. Tree scan was gone and the camera was gone.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, man, I wish I could see what's on that camera because he had it pointed at his tree stand.
But that's why it's gone. Wow.
Yeah, and hasn't been back.
And obviously a human really take a couple humans, I think, to twist a tree stand. I mean, they're meant to hold.
Now, I've carried a tree stand. I know how a tree stand feels, right? So that now,
Yeah, this one had the metal ladder going up, and that's what was twisted.
hard
Yeah.
to twist.
Sure.
Because they're rated to 350 pounds
Yeah.
and up.
Yeah.
For 100 gears and everything. I mean,
Right.
it's not easy. I mean,
Yeah, that's not something that Standing Stones, he has a question. How far from the guardrail was the place that you went in and fed them? Would you say?
The guardrail.
Or are you just talking about the road, Standing Stones? I think he just means
how far off was you from the road?
Yeah, if there wasn't a guardrail, just
feet.
off the road.
If he's talking about the fence from the first time, or
Is
is he
that what you're
talking about the
talking about?
guardrail
Now, when you're feeding them peanut butter,
feeding him now? 50 feet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
wow,
Wow.
Yeah, I could sit in my car and
Oh, okay.
I would stand there and you can hear him. One night I went out there and it was late. I wanted to be by myself, and they've got motion lights. So they're not real bright at that time. There were 2. And I just sat in front of my car and you could hear him walking around, checking things out.
Wow. Wow. You know what, he was wondering actually your first encounter when you were 16. How far was that from where you went to feed them?
It was almost like it was hugging the guardrail, trying to hide, trying to be
Okay.
small.
Okay.
So it was right on top of it. And when I come around the corner,
Okay.
it was
wow.
And then the location of that, and then this area that you were feeding them in, how far away would you say? I mean,
20 miles.
So yeah, fairly close. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
it's
is all
not far.
Benson County still. So
Yeah, definitely plausible that it, okay, so then so where are we? Let's see. All right, so you can just go on with the information. I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. Trust me, I need help staying on track. So
Okay, yeah.
After the
Wow.
peanut butter,
Mhm.
uh, a lot of people advise me to not go back,
Okay.
and
Right.
because they were worried about repercussions.
Uh-uh.
And I thought, the more I thought about it, I thought, you know what? If anybody deserves a butt whipping over this, I caused the people on that road a lot of grief. I thought,
It's nice
you know
of you.
what? If they're looking for a little butt whipping, I'm going to keep going and see what happens.
Aw.
And they would still, I'd still get pictures, still hear sounds, even though I wasn't feeding them. I just started going to a little different area, a little farther down, and have had some pretty good interaction. The funniest one was I had, one jar of peanut butter left in my bag, my duffel bag or
Mhm.
backpack.
Okay.
And I went down and I thought, I wonder what'll happen if I open this and just stick it in my backpack and walk around for a while.
Oh no.
So I
That's
opened this,
like rolling in honey and running around in the field with grizzly bears.
like I said, if anybody deserves a butt whipping, then, it would have been me. So I opened this jar. As soon as I peel the tin foil, I start looking for how I'm going to stick it in. And before I even get it in my bag, I hear a knock and ooh. Oh, they do remember.
Whoa.
You're like watching the whole time.
Yeah. Whoa.
So that was the only naughty thing I did was I did leave that out there, stuck up under the roots because I didn't want to tease them.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that's the only
Like your
naughty thing I've done since then.
last hurrah.
Yep. That was,
Well, obviously you went into this with good intent. You didn't go into this to have anything, bad happen. It was with good intention.
no, it falls under that thing. You think you're in control. They'll stay on this side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
Yeah.
it just,
Mm-hmm.
I learned the hard way. I don't control anything out there. It's all their game.
I think
they're
it's
going to choose when they want to come out. They're going to choose when they don't want to. They're going to choose when anything.
Yeah.
I don't have any say. I just happen to be there when they decide they want to.
Mm-hmm. When you're out there, you pretty consistently have interactions, though, right? I mean, like you said, you can hear them walking, and you can hear some noises.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many do you think are in that area? Do you have any idea?
I know there's a family group. I don't know how big.
Okay.
Because in one of the pictures I sent you, and this is the great thing about what's going on, because there's been so many people that I kind of rely on to help me with this.
Yes.
Can I name drop or not?
I get if it's sure. Yeah.
Randy Kuchara, he's been big in helping me as far as what to do when I'm out there to not disrespect them.
Uh-huh.
Lance Eby and has been big on that. Jared Eagleser has been one finding a lot of the stuff in my photos. Wow. So it's other people finding the stuff in my pictures, not me.
Yes.
You can kind of tell when something's happening, so I'll take 3 or 4 pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll send them to Jared, and all of a sudden, the funniest one was the one I sent where I was so proud of myself because I found that juvenile footprint, stick my foot by it, take the picture, send it to Jared, and he's like, I said, yeah, see the juvenile? And he's like, well, what about the big one? What big one?
Wow. Yeah.
He's like, you're standing in it.
Sounds like me, doesn't it, Barb?
Yes, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
There I am standing in an 18 or 19-inch track.
Yep.
So, and then there was a little baby one behind it.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
So,
but when you're looking at them, that Grizzly Santa, because just happened to me last night, I found a footprint. It was getting dark, and I'm like, I got to get a picture of this so it doesn't, get stepped in or whatever overnight. And when I took the picture, I could see it so much better. Or looking at the picture back inside, I could see it so much better. I'm like, oh wow, I think there was maybe 2. But anyway, so I totally understand that.
I caught a lot of flack. It was like, oh, some researcher you stood in it.
It's funny.
At least I didn't stand on the toes.
Wow. but that's great to have mentors. It really is. I have so many as well, and it really. I was just talking to somebody else about that last night. It's so necessary to have the support because it's kind of it's an emotional thing. It's a I don't even it kind of gets your adrenaline going, and some people have a hard time dealing with it. It's very traumatic for some people. So so it's great that you have this support system. So what has been happening then since you talked to Val and Grizzly in April? What's been going on since then?
Well, we quit the gifting.
Okay.
Mort's now finding prints, still getting some sounds, still getting pictures. So basically just kind of walking and seeing what we can find.
Mm-hmm.
The most emotional one for me was on May 10th, a good friend of mine passed away. I mean, I knew this lady for years. She literally brought me lunch every Friday.
Oh, sorry to hear
and,
that.
she was the epitome of fitness, still running marathons at 75, and had a stroke, and so was instantly gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the place where I feel most at home, comfortable, and that was out in the woods. Took a little Bluetooth speaker with me, and I was just sitting there, like a big baby bawling my eyes out, and had this music playing, and all of a sudden you heard a real long, oh,
Wow.
and it went 3 times, like something was mourning with me.
Oh.
So
wow.
It was really, to me, it was kind of touching.
Yes.
That to it, but
yeah.
So
I mean, it certainly seems like they were just kind of mourning along with you.
Yeah, sad because I was sad.
Wow. That's also, I've heard that before too. Have you, Grizzly? That a couple people have told me that they will mourn along with them. It's like they absorb our feelings, or if they can feel what you're feeling, and they really empathize. Standing Stones had said, "Can I suggest you leave them a harmonica or 3?" I don't know if he wants to leave them anything after the peanut butter jar.
That's the tough part now, because I'm walking a real fine line with getting kicked out or not get kicked out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you don't want to lose those privileges.
I did used to leave things like that. I left a glow-in-the-dark ball on this rotted out barrel, and it disappeared that week. And then 3 months later, or I think I sent you the picture with the dates. It was 3 or 4 months. The ball turned up in the same spot.
Yeah, Grizzly, I think I sent you a picture of that.
Did it quit working?
Yeah. That was why I got brought back.
That's why I got brought back. That's what I
And there's not a mark on it. There's no teeth marks. There's
is that the white ball? Is that the white ball? I don't know if I sent that.
I say I
figure that's something that that's something that you can just, it is what it is. But that's pretty neat that, it's quit working. There was something that I sent you. It was, I think it was like some things in a jar. And then there was another picture like before and after, and how you found them later on. That was interesting.
There were several trinkets in there, and I can't remember exactly what, but a couple of them were missing. The rest of them were just laid out.
Wow. Yeah, I'll have him pull up those pictures, because I thought that was interesting too. So now, is this before? Is this how you left it?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Jammed in that tree.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, and stand by.
Wow.
To even crushed a little ball for some reason, but that's exactly how I found it.
Wow. And did they, did you say there was something missing?
I think there was a little Bigfoot metal figure.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
And that's the same container that I think I took all that stuff home, and I put a bunch of the fly for, around Halloween time, you get those little glow in the dark maggots and stuff that fly for
Oh, yeah.
fishermen. I
Mhm.
filled that about half full,
Okay.
and that disappeared in 3 days. And I haven't seen
Oh,
it since, so
oh my
maybe they're still glowing somewhere.
Wow. Wow. That's really incredible.
Yeah, so the gifting was fun while it lasted, but now it's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like you mentioned last night. You don't want to screw a good thing up.
That's exactly. Yep. I totally empathize. Right. I'm very, yeah. You get very afraid to
We
to mess
do
up. Mhm.
we do get sticks moved around. We're still finding new tree structures and rock piles. Put a rock pile one way, all of a sudden you come back and it's in a different formation.
Wow. What kind of tree structures do you find that would, are they, partial to making certain types?
A little bit of everything, the X's and then like the tree piece.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And for some reason, they don't like cherry trees out there.
Oh.
You go out there and all the birch and everything will be fine, but the cherry trees are all snapped off between 6 and 8 feet.
Wow. I
Hmm.
wonder what that would
And then the
be.
one we found last fall was a big cherry tree, but it was way up on top of a hill and it was upside down.
Wow.
And we could find another cherry tree that I saw for, eighth, quarter mile. But for some reason, this tree gets stuck right upside down by where I put a peanut butter jar.
That's so
So
interesting. Yeah. I wonder why that would be. You have any thoughts on that?
I
Why
don't
they
know if
would?
it's a power display,
Oh, maybe. Maybe. Yeah.
look how big I am, or maybe it's, hey, the food's good over here.
Wow. I wonder, yeah,
Trail
because I would think that the cherries would provide a lot of, some food for them, but for some
That's what
reason,
I would think, but
yeah.
I know they're big on the deer out there.
Okay.
There's
All
a
right.
lot of deer.
All right.
Um,
They're more
there's-
meat eaters.
that's what I would think too, that you would eat the cherries,
Yeah.
but
Cherries, yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Rebecca said, this is kind of cute. Yeah, she said, is it littering if a harmonica accidentally falls out of your car window?
hypothetically, it got put there. They did leave as a matter of fact, now that you bring that up, that night that I went down and cried my eyes out, I have a dog clicker and it was in my pocket. And when I got back to my car, I realized it fell out and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to find it now. It was deadfall. So I just left it. And then when I went back, that was a Wednesday night. When I went back Sunday, it was tied around the gate and hanging down.
Wow.
So
wow.
somebody took the time to find my little dog clicker where I was sitting in the woods and tie it to the gate. I sent you a picture of the gate where it was pushed down.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
the 3 steps are.
Nanoballs wants to know, do you have any abilities that you're aware of? Any psychic abilities or anything like that?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Denise says, well, maybe the cherries need to be dipped in peanut butter.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're still hanging around me. They keep hoping.
Yeah. I don't see the one I don't see the one about the fence, but yeah. But anyway,
there's a big cattle gate out there. And this was
just tell us about this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And it was fine one day I went out, and then the next 6 or 7 days later, go out and you can see where the top of the cattle gate right on the corner is pushed straight down.
Oh, wow.
There's no sawdust or anything. There's no way a tree fell on it because it was on a tube track.
Right.
And then you could see 2 footprints going up to it and then one going on the other side.
Wow.
Like it had pushed down. And I got on that gate, I'm not huge, but I'm 270. And I hopped up and down on the bar and I can't even wiggle it.
Yeah. See, wow.
So a friend of mine told me that he actually did that on accident with a high-low, and it takes about 800 pounds of force to push that down.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No, it's a lot.
Incredible.
So, and the fact that there were two prints on one side, one on the other, is like, oh, he just
Wow.
put his
Yeah.
hand on it and over it went.
Wow. And you now, have you found some tracks as far as like in the snow? I know you had sent me a video about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was how, now I'm going to really start getting emotional.
Oh,
My, one of my friends who, she was like a sister. And I told her, you know, I'd seen tracks earlier and I wanted to go back, and she had wanted to do something. I said, well, let's go check this out. And she had stage 4 cancer at the time.
sorry.
And so we went out and back to where you could see where a deer had gone up, and then 2 footprints on the hill. I said, well, let's follow these. I said, I know what made it. Let's go follow it, see what we can, if we can hear anything, you know. And so she and I trudged through the snow, and we get up over the hill, 20, 30 yards over the hill, and then we start hearing cracking and popping around us. And we're in the dark. I haven't turned the flashlights on yet. And I'm like, she goes, what is that? And I'm like, well, I don't know. She said, hit the light. So I turned the light on, and right at the edge of the light is, I think it was Big Red, the one I call Big Red out there.
Oh.
But he, huge, massive, red and brown, goes like this, you know, to shield its eyes, and then roars.
Oh, wow.
And it was so loud, it vibrated, and deep and guttural, it vibrated. And I turned and put my car keys in her hand. I'm like, go, go, go. If I'm not in that truck 30 seconds behind you, you go. And so, you know, I'm pushing her along. She's a $1.5, you know, and you can hear it walking behind us.
Oh my gosh.
We're getting escorted out at this point.
Mm.
And I had parked right next to the bank. So all I had to do was, I have a 2006 Dodge 1-ton. So the floorboard was lying right there, pick it up, throw her in. I managed to fall under the truck from the snow and ice. So I'm trying to scoot my way out. And all of a sudden I hear my truck start. And I'm like, oh crap, she took me serious. Bigfoot's not going to get me. I'm going to get run over.
Oh, no.
Finally get in the truck, push her over, and we leave. And nobody said anything for a couple miles. And she's like, we need to stop at Shell. And I said, I'm not stopping anywhere but your house and having a drink. She said, no, she was, you know, when that roared, I wet my pants.
Oh,
luckily, she had no pants on. So we stopped the snow, and she just rolled them up, and I had a garbage bag in the back of the truck they went.
Yeah.
So, and I told her, I said, she started crying, and I'm like, something to be ashamed of. If I hadn't just gone before that, I would have too. You know?
That is so common, right, Grizzly? Like how many,
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah. Yes.
7, 8 out of 10 people do some form of losing their bowels, or, you know,
yes,
in some form. It's just so common. And some people it happens to a couple times because it's such a shock.
So being hard-headed, I wanted to go back out there and see what, you know, if I could find anything from it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where you see the video of me trying to recreate those steps, trying to hop through that snow.
Yeah.
It takes me 7 or 8 steps at least, and I'm plowing through it. You can see the drag marks in my legs.
Yeah. Wow.
And everything. And then at the top of the hill is where I found that footprint in the snow, and I put it next to it, and that was about 23.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, and then the pictures of that night, actually Val is the one, he got Bob Daigle involved. And when I heard Bob Daigle was going to look at my pictures, I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to get ripped apart on these. Bob turns around and says, well, you got 2 on the left and a face on the right.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, man, if they wanted to get us, that was no problem, because we walked right in between them. Yeah. So there were at least 4 there that night. And I think I interrupted dinner is why I think they chased that deer down and had it just past there somewhere.
Okay.
So
that's good to have. Isn't that great to have somebody that you look up to, and then they find something? That's such a great feeling.
I never thought it would get anywhere like this. I mean, I'm just so grateful for everybody that's been involved, and to be able to talk to people like you, Barb, and Grizzly, and Val. I mean, massive
all-
amount of friends. Everybody in the chat, I love going back and forth with Standing Stones, None of Us, and the
Yeah.
Wanda, seeing all the stuff. It's been
Right.
None of
overwhelming.
us says, and speaking of Marty, she said, Brian, I'm pretty sure you're at least an empath. I agree, because I'm an empath, and I definitely feel like you have, oh my gosh, empathic ability. You know, it's so yeah, you could just
Well,
tell you great heart. Oh wow.
Everybody keeps telling me I'm just a big teddy bear, so
Yeah, that would be that. Yeah, that sounds like
I genuinely feel bad for people when they feel bad about us. So it was
yes,
like,
yep. We feel things on such deep levels. That's what Marty's saying. Yep. And we are here for you, Brian. Yeah, that's for sure.
as long as I wear my
now-
earbuds at night, right?
Yeah, Marty, that's a good it's a good point. So now, and you've taken a lot of teasing about this, and we do it in great fun, and it's just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about it, and I think that Standing Stones had said something about it. Explain about how you got your box of, you can tell
Sweet and low.
Sweet and low. Tell us what happened with that.
Instead of Mr. Hanky, we got Mrs. Sassy.
Yes. Yeah.
My friend and I go with me. We were out walking, and it was snow covered, but there were patches of clear spots. Let's see what the date was. And it
He's
was toward
got
the
a
end of the
box.
Grizzly. Stop.
I can't look.
just,
I'm trying, Brian.
Kindergartner.
well, the funny thing is just a sample.
I
It
knew
was
he was going to reach for it. I just
like
felt
this. There's another 2 feet to that somewhere out there. I just got what was frozen that I could pick off the ground, as bad as that sounds. So I literally just found it by we were going toward one of the peanut butter spots, and my friend goes, "Hey, look, holy smokes. No wonder they howl if they do that." I would howl after it looks like a night of Mexican food or something.
So can you tell me like how big? Because I have to know. Oh my gosh.
That's what I mean. That's probably why they
I
howl.
gotta go back and replay that. I'm hitting. Thank you, Evie. I'm still in shock. I'm frozen. There we go.
Well, and so I chipped away at what I could, and put it in a plastic bag, and then I put it in my backpack. As I'm walking around, the heat from my body starts to thaw out a little bit. I'm like, oh man, I don't know what this. Holy, it was awful. And I said, okay, I need to throw this in the truck and go, and get it home and get it frozen. And I think it was in the truck 5 minutes, and I'm like, no, going back in the back of the truck.
Oh.
It was really very bad. The inside of my truck stunk for 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
The bed smelled for another 7.
Oh, geez.
It was just horrible. But, I took Lance's advice and bagged it and tagged it and put it in the freezer. And then, ironically, after talking about this so much, I was taking some pictures of a trackway for Jared to look at, because I knew there were some in there, but I didn't know how many. And I turn around, and I thought I stepped in a bunch of mud. And I'm like, what the heck?
Tell me that part.
That's new. He just told me that.
Yep. I don't know what it was, but it was deep enough that it went up over the top of my shoe, up my sock. And it had a very familiar smell.
I was going to say, you probably recognize that odor. Oh,
yeah. Those shoes did not come home with me. So those were $120 shoes that are just gone.
God. You'll see a juvenile will be walking around with your shoes on.
Nana Boss, really? Really?
Well, she really? Question.
It was a straight line. We'll go with it.
Okay, it was a straight line. There you go. Another mental picture.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to chisel it.
So they walk when they go.
Oh,
instead of
Yeah,
just
they didn't pause, but
squatting. No, that's a fair
oh.
scientific question.
yep, nobody's ever asked me that one before.
Yeah, see, but that's
Size, color.
shows you some some behavior.
Oh,
That was like when I washed my bag finally. I put it in the washer and pulled it out of the washer. It still stank, so I threw it in
Oh
the
my.
dryer with 4 or 5 dryer sheets. And then the first time I pulled it out, it didn't take away the smell. It just smelled like he pooped in a flower garden. So I had to rewash it. It probably took 3 or 4 times, I think,
Oh my gosh.
to get the smell out of there.
Wow.
oh.
That's kind of
So-
amazing because you didn't just
That's why the shoes
Oh
didn't
my
come off.
gosh!
Yeah,
Dana Boss,
right,
I hate to
right.
click on anything
You're
else.
like,
that you're gonna
forget it.
say.
Nope, and I hate walking barefoot.
Yolanda
Went home
up
barefoot.
one night. So Brian, yes,
What?
but
I'm sorry. Yeah. Your guys were
I
like,
said
it was
Yolanda
like-
set me up one night. Remember, Barb? So now I got to watch Nana Boss now.
How's she say? Yeah.
I used to read the comments because we know in the morning everything goes to audio to I think the 13 to 15
Yes.
platform.
Yeah.
So I read the comments out, and before I would click and read them, and they would say funny comments, and I didn't know it, and I would read them, and everybody would be laughing at me. I was like, "Damn it!" But yeah, they would get me. So yes. So now I read the comments before I say them out
Yeah.
loud. So
And
how
that's
read
what I
it?
love this forum is because you guys interact with the audience. You actually feel like you're part of the process.
Thank you. Hey, it's because of them that we continue to do this. It's just we love it. It's like our own little family. Yeah, Debbie said, Barb, you best hope one doesn't leave you something like that. And
I
that's
was just gonna say I agree because it'd be like wood stain, and that was when everybody keeps telling me, "Well, you should have put it in paper instead of plastic." I'm like, "How would you put something like that in paper?"
Oh, here I knew it. Well, you didn't know, and here's another question from Nana Boss.
Yes.
I knew it.
Fair question, though. Scientific.
I would, some fiber. What? I guess would be the
Was it cornflakes?
no, not cornflakes.
Corn. What about corn?
It looked like in corn, out corn. I would imagine. If something happens and I ever get DNA on it, it'd probably come back dead deer, berries, and peanut butter.
Okay. Yeah. Mhm.
I can't wait for her to come on the show. I'm gonna have a ball with her.
Don't
wait.
scare her away. We're gonna have her on. Don't scare her away.
Yeah, actually, I did not dig through it. It was frozen.
No, I don't blame you.
But I can tell you from what I stepped in, they're definitely high in fiber with plants and.
Wow. Oh my God.
If I ever thought about it, I should have took a sample and then compared the two to see if Jiffy shows up or not.
No, this is not happening.
Nana Boss wants also.
I don't want to know what she wants to know.
Was there any hair in that sample that you have?
I don't know.
You know of?
Not that I know, but I do have hair.
Down there on your hands and knees with the magnifying glass.
No,
Wow.
I have no idea. To be quite honest, I came home, threw it in a Ziploc freezer bag, threw it in another Ziploc, put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
Fast as I could, because that's tough.
it. Oh my gosh.
I was not about to analyze that on the spot.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Oh my gosh. Well, that's.
But I do have hair, like
Wow.
Yolanda
and this is what Chris was talking about.
No, I don't know.
They won't eat the crunchy.
Oh, they won't eat the crunchy.
No, they don't touch it.
Whoa. Well, that's.
I even tried tricking them, and I changed the lids because smooth is red and crunchy's blue. So I put the little lid on it and left it.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
do they open the lid and just do what? Like put it back on, or?
I leave the tinfoil on.
Oh my gosh.
I used to open the tinfoil, but then I thought, well, let's see how good they really are. So I'd leave the tinfoil on, and I've got a couple of them laying around here somewhere. They're perfectly peeled. around the tinfoil. I can't do that.
Oops. Oh no, Evie said, "Uh-oh."
Uh-oh.
In my freezer.
I thought she
Uh-oh.
knew. I told her that.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Evie, I don't buy that, Evie. That's what my husband does to me. Oh, I already told you. I already told you.
I know I told her. Because I didn't want somebody thinking it was a roast for Christmas or something, you know?
I kind of think he would remember that, though. So anyway, if you see a box of Sweet and Low,
Oh my gosh!
don't go anywhere
Hey, Sweet and Low beer.
What?
Oh.
I got a label.
and it says, "Yeah." Don't touch. Oh my gosh. But that would scare me if you have like if the power goes out. Oh my gosh, that's the first thing you gotta get out.
Lord.
Oh yeah, that would be bad.
Wow.
Oh.
You know,
I'd actually forgot about it until Chris mentioned it on one of the saw my name and said something about he thought that was the best part of the interview. I'm like, oh yeah, that's still in the
yeah, Nana Boss said she's told Evie she's gonna send her a link to Home Depot so she can shop for a freezer. I want Grizzly to, but I have to find the first one. The video that you had sent to me, and we had Chris Hensley enhance it, and there was so much more that showed
enhanced it. You didn't tell me about photographs of it. Now wait.
Wait, what? What?
You gotta be joking.
What?
You got photographs of it and enhanced it?
The a video.
No.
You took a video of it?
Oh no, different video.
No, not a poop. Oops, am I allowed to say?
Sorry, what did I miss?
I know.
I was like, maybe we're going into the ditch in Rwanda and somebody's got the bill and make this.
He's got to take me. He's got to take it into the ditch. Wait, I'm gonna send this to you, Grizzly, and because this is the like raw video. This is what Brian sent me, and then it's kind of amazing. It is very amazing, actually, when Chris amplified it, how much more. So tell us, before he plays this, tell us what was, and you know which one I'm talking about,
Yep.
Brian.
Yep.
Okay. What was going on before this?
Well, I was walking and on my way back to the truck, and then I could hear something real high, woo, woo. And I thought, that's a big, that's not a bird. At first I thought it was birds, and then the more I listened to it, it just kept going and going. And I'm like, that's a big bird. So I started filming.
I'm sorry, the people. A video of him picking out theirs. No, that's not what it is. Okay. All right.
So I started filming, and I was so concentrated on trying to identify whatever the high pitched one was. I'm like, I heard a low rumble. Probably a highway or something. And all of a sudden, where the video cuts off is where every hair on my neck went up, and I'm like, okay, time to go. I pushed my luck, because closer it gets to sunset, the rowdier they get out there. So it was time to go at that point, but I didn't hear most of what Chris enhanced, so I'm very grateful for that.
That is amazing, isn't it? Like, whoa, yeah. Because even with, even with my earbuds, and I have to say that, like, I can hear a lot of things, and I think probably it's just women. I think we have a broader range of hearing, than males. It's like we can hear higher tones, you know what I mean, even like lower. And so I can usually hear a lot of things that, let's say, like my husband or one of the guys, my friends can. But I didn't hear anything on this. Not like Chris. Wow, that was amazing what he found. So this is the original video.
Yep.
Okay.
I can't even say. Here we go. Action.
No poop involved.
No, I do got pictures, but I didn't send those.
beautiful.
The only thing I heard
Oh,
was in the
sorry.
very, very distance. I had headphones on.
Yes. Yeah. So, wow, it's certainly beautiful out there. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then
I
we'll
can't even see. My eyes are blurry and
okay. Sorry.
y'all, I mean, I really
Can
thought
you?
y'all had video footage of the box and everything else. I was like, what are y'all doing to the show? I was like, man, y'all didn't prep me for this.
No. So, I did send you
Unbelievable.
when you. I did send you Grizzly. I have one. There's a recording above it, and then it says one more for Brian Barber. And
Okay, one
oh,
about it.
you're
Okay,
pulling
I got
that
it.
up. Let's see. Yeah. Marty, not a boss, said, okay. Can you use a part of that sample to bring in more of the Sasquatch? That's good.
You know, I think if somebody left that in my house, I wouldn't be coming back for it.
That's true. That's
Now,
true.
well, you probably start a fight. If you wanted to track Bigfoot, you might as well just get butt naked and rub yourself in peanut butter and run around the forest naked.
Exactly. And they call it a bear
You
attack.
know? So let's see here.
Yeah, so Chris Hensley had taken that and amplified it, and wow.
Sounds like the zoo, doesn't it?
Yes, that is just incredible.
Now, if
Yeah,
you
that
take
sounds
that
like the zoo.
and if you take that and amplify that to concert sound, that was what I heard the night I got walked out.
Wow. Yeah.
Was that an audio recorder? What kind of audio recorder did you
That was
use?
my iPhone.
I
So I was
Oh,
right
an
there in the moment.
actual
So they had
iPhone.
to be, he had to be close.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing though that they can put out those sounds and you don't hear it?
Yeah.
Because that's just amazing. Wow.
Yep, you don't hear it, but somehow something inside you goes, time to go. You're not wanted here.
Yeah. Do you ever feel that they've they say like kind of zapped you with infrasound or anything like that? Have been affected in any physical way when you were out?
I get turned around very easy in one portion of that woods,
Okay.
which is where that recording came from.
Okay.
I'm usually okay with directions. I mean, I'm not Christopher Columbus or anything, but I can usually find my way around.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even guess how many times I've gotten turned around in just a small section of woods and wound out, a mile off where I thought I would be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it is amazing audio. And then Standing Stone says it reminds me of a welding torch sound. And I think like some of it like what is it, like a tuning fork? Do you remember those? I don't even know what you use those for, but you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's just.
Yeah, because I was focused on that woo, woo, woo. And like I said, I heard one little rumble, but didn't think anything of it. And then it was just, I overstayed my welcome. And
And it's
Because it was
consistent.
7:30 in March, and it starts getting dark pretty quick.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I was going to say, so you said after once it starts to get dark, you get out of there.
yeah,
You've never stayed overnight in
no,
that area? Okay.
no, I am not a camper. My idea of roughing it's like a hotel room that doesn't have cable.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and was
Yeah.
as bold as I had one night where I had just gotten one of the little Seek thermals for my phone,
Okay.
and I was standing at the gate filming the 2-track, and I'm sitting there looking at it, and I can see it down the 2-track where there's two big black had it set for white for hot, and there were two big black gaps in between the trees.
Oh wow.
Well, it's dark out. I can't tell. I thought, well, okay, no big deal. And all of a sudden, I'm looking around, watching, and all of a sudden, it's like the gaps got bigger. I'm like, what the heck? Did I out of focus or something? And after a couple minutes, it got a little bigger. So I heard a tree break behind me, and as I panned to get that, it went by my truck, and I realized my truck motor was black. So I had it set for black for hot. So there were two of them walking up the path.
Wow.
And when I realized that there were two on the path and another one breaking trees behind me, I decided, okay, time to go. Got in my truck, and when I hit the brake lights, you could see two big black shadows, one on either side of the taillights.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
that was
Yeah.
during the peanut butter. I don't think they realized I could see them with the thermal until I turned around, and then I opened my truck door, and then all of a sudden the pace picked up.
Okay.
Because they covered 50 yards in a pretty quick way without a
Wow.
sound. Never heard it.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Rebecca said a box of sweet and low makes a wonderful hostess gift. Never get invited again. Yeah, if you want to go somewhere and never get invited again. Yeah, so you have, what is it? Can you explain that piece of, is it equipment? You said, is it just for your phone? What is
Yeah,
it?
the Seek thermal camera.
Oh,
Lance
okay.
Stevie told me about it, and I tried it, and
And it works well.
it works okay.
Okay.
It's not, you're not going to get grade A photos like some of them, but you can see shapes and stuff. Lance has taken a few videos with it, and I got a picture of one. You can see it standing right behind the tree. It's all yellow form, and I took a series of photos, so you see it. It's like this, just a little bit,
nice.
and it's here, and then it's here, and then it's back here. So you can see that yellow form shift behind the
That's
tree.
cool. Wow. And then is that something you just like hook? It's like attached to your phone?
Yeah, it literally plugs into the charging port.
Oh, that's cool. Wow. Wow.
So, and it I know thermals are expensive, but this one was $250, I think.
Okay.
And it was actually the one I used. This is the one that made me the most nervous, other than being chased out. I was standing there with a thermal and a flashlight, and I could see a little pair of eyes real close to the ground, trying to figure out what it is. And it's going this way and this way, back and forth. And I'm like, what the heck? And so I hit with a flashlight real quick, and it's a big trash panda. Huge.
Oh,
I'm
It's
like,
a what?
oh man, big trash panda, raccoon.
Oh,
So he's sitting there, he's walking back and forth, getting closer each time. So now I'm watching him on the thermal, and then he stops by this tree. I thought, and he's probably 30 yards away, maybe. And I was sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden you can see this red arm come out, snatch the panda, pull it back behind the tree. The panda screaming for his life, and then you hear a thud. No more panda noise.
whoa.
And so I pick my flashlight up, and I'm shining it, and about 10 feet away, you can see yellow eyes blink. Gets down maybe 20, 30 yards, blink again, and gone.
Oh my gosh.
So after I finally kind of snapped out of shock, I came back the next day, and sure enough, you could see 17-inch tracks
Oh my
going up
God.
to that tree and then going back away.
Wow.
So he snuck up on the raccoon while I'm standing right there and snagged him. And I thought, okay, well, right there proves they're not out to get me, because instead of Trash Panda, he could have had a Barbara buffet, and I got a lot more steaks and chops on me than the raccoon does. So
Wow.
Wow. That's
that was a nerve, just the fact that something that big can move without you hearing it. And the power that it takes to do a lot of the tree baits and like the tree twists, like you were talking about last night.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Amazing.
I mean,
Go ahead.
that's why I never consider myself a big guy after seeing something like that.
Well, yeah,
I mean, I'm
jeez.
6'270", bench 315 for reps, leg press 1,000 pounds for reps, but I am nothing compared to what is running around out there. So,
Wow.
Wow.
Does
and
anybody
yet
have
they can turn around and be so gentle to take the lid off and peel
Yeah.
the tinfoil. And then the one, they actually folded the tinfoil in half and put it in a jar, screwed the top back on it, and it was about 10 foot in the air in the tree.
That's just amazing. Wow.
They're probably laughing their monkey butts off watching me trying to climb a tree to get that jar back.
It amazes me that for some reason with the that they were able to identify the crunchy peanut butter. Like that. Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, even after it's maybe a month, and I just quit peeling the tinfoil. I thought, we'll see if they find it without being able to smell it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, then
Amazing.
a lot of the time you would find it almost like a trail, because you would where you are, and then you look farther down and there'd be the lid, and then farther down would be either the whole tinfoil or pieces of it, and then farther down, would be a jar.
Oh wow. Okay.
But for the last 2 to 3 months of putting peanut butter out, didn't find a jar from any of that. Still haven't found them. I don't know if they started keeping them or what, but
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Because
so,
they obviously were. I mean, if they were throwing them in the, in the neighbors around there, if they were throwing them in their yards and at their house, what is behind that behavior? That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Do they use them? Or
Yeah.
I guess it would make good storage for something, but
Yeah.
that out is
If they need. Yeah. And it's, some people say that they kind of, if you give them something, they kind of just like stack it neatly. Mike Scott said the family that he's working with that was gifting, they just kind of put the stuff right back up in the tree, which is after they're done with it, which is like, that's amazing too. But but your guys are like,
yeah, they keep some of them, like the one I found was in the spot where I had put it, but it was a year prior.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, it's really hard to comprehend the fact that all of a sudden that jar disappeared and comes back a year later.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of them get scattered by wildlife and whatnot. As a matter of fact, one of the funniest moments of my life was I'm sitting there and I'm looking down the hill, and all of a sudden I see what looks like a weasel, running through the woods. And I'm like, what the heck? And so I walked down a little closer, and then I could see it was actually a squirrel. And he had the bottom of the peanut butter jar in his head, and he's up and he's bopping like that, running away with my peanut butter jar.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, wow, you little furry friend.
Well, wow.
So, I mean, I know they do get scattered. I got pictures of one where I think he ate a lot of peanut butter, because the squirrel I couldn't get it all the way in the hole in the tree.
Oh.
So I just stuck it. So there was like a ledge. And I got a picture of a squirrel. It's a normal squirrel here. And then you got the incredible bulking squirrel over here who's literally eating the peanut butter out of the jar. And he's twice as big, tail and all. That body is twice as big as the regular squirrel. And I went, well, I guess I know who gets the majority here.
Wow. Maybe the Bigfoot are kind of sharing that, fattening him up.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy Witch said, Brian, curious if you've checked the jars for prints. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I got one sitting right here. And that was how last night my name came up with Dr. Melba Ketchum.
Okay.
I had reached out to her because this one it's got 2 very long, oily prints, like whole fingers wrapped, and they go about halfway around the jar. And
Wow.
there's hair in it. No, they're plastic jars. And so I was able to get in contact with her, and she gave me the number of her. She's too busy at the time. Not only that, but obviously the DNA thing would be a whole nother expense.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She gave me a name of a guy in California who originally got into it because he wanted to disprove Bigfoot, but wound up, so he examined the fingerprints and everything and wound up actually going, yeah, there's something out there. But when I called, I made 2 phone calls and I never got anything back. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
that's as far as that went. You know what? Like I said, I totally forgot I had the little present in the freezer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was going to ask Dr. Ketchum about that, but I know she's busy with that other,
Mhm.
doing a Dogman now or something.
I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that they've like probably with Sasquatch, they pretty much proven as far as DNA, at this point, unless something else changes. So let me see. There was something else. Does anybody, if you have any questions, get them in.
Yeah, go ahead, Nana Boss. Ask away.
It's Nana's turn to get me back for.
Let's see. Maybe it's a peanut butter that helped them make the long trail of, sweet.
How did I know Rebecca was going to say something? I just knew it. Yolanda, your turn. Or Yolanda left, didn't she?
Yeah, probably.
That's what I mean. I would love to actually be able to find, if I'd have been smart enough, grab a little piece off my shoe and then find out if there's peanut butter in that, if that actually translates.
Yeah. But even so.
Here's the before, here's the
they have
after.
very oily prints. That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct.
Yeah, and it's very hard.
Yeah, and they're pretty distinct. I mean, you can see the finger marks where the fingers break, and I got big mitts, and my fingers are about half of what goes around that jar.
Wow.
And ladies and gentlemen, the fingerprints are not anywhere similar to human fingerprints. They are not like the shape and imprints like ours. They're more like lines.
Yeah.
So you can tell they're not humans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
there's.
Just to let you know.
Mm-hmm.
And here was one I found.
Fingerprints of alleged Bigfoot.
Prints, but I mean, look what happened to the jar.
Wow. That is just.
I can't squeeze a peanut butter jar together, and there's no bite marks. There's no claw marks on it.
I think somebody was mad that he ran out.
Yeah, it could be. I'm probably lucky I didn't get hit with that.
Yeah. Was that just out laying? Just laying somewhere? Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yes, Crazy Witch, that is correct. Dermal ridges do run different than ours. That is absolutely correct.
Wow.
I mean, they definitely
Tammy. I actually had pictures of the dermal ridges on another show. I forgot what show it was, but yes.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to me.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
it was great having you on the show. It's been an awesome
is there
show.
anything else that you want to tell us about Brian before we let you go?
I just would like people to know that, because there are being parts of my story that are being picked out and used. Well, people are just going to do that in general. Use it, spin their own narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something to be respected.
Yeah.
They're not all vilified. They're not all out to get you. It's just like any other wildlife who's just a little smarter, that you give them their space and don't feed them. Don't get in that habit of it. Mm-hmm. Even if you got your own property, don't do what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, just if they were out, they could have taken me several, multiple times. Obviously, that could have been me instead of that raccoon. Or the night I'm sitting there bawling my eyes out and can't hear anything because I got sad music playing and all they do is moan. So,
when you go out, are you armed when you go out into the woods?
No, if I carry, I don't get anything.
Okay, I've heard that.
I don't know if they smell the gun oil or what. And the only reason I keep a gun in my truck is more for aggressive people than,
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's,
Oh,
where'd
there
Barb
she
go? Just you and me, Chris.
yeah. But no, and we hear that a lot when people carry firearms, that they don't get any responses or any sightings or anything at all. So, and and I don't know, like you say, if it's the gun oil or the residue powder or whatnot. And there she is. She's back.
Yeah, sorry. Streamlink said there was a message, something about press here, and I didn't, and it kicked me out. Anyway, yeah. Oh, you know what? What do you think, Brian? What do you think that they are? We like to ask all our guests this. I'm always curious to see.
That's the hard one for me, because to me, until one comes out and says, this is what I am, I think anything's on the table.
Yeah.
I think it could be, a Gigantopithecus downgraded. It could be, the DNA keeps coming up, half man, part woman, part monkey, or unknown primate, I should say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of the unknown primate stuff. So, could they be aliens? It could be. There seems to be a lot of reports attached to that. I never used to give a lot of credibility to the cloaking, but since talking to Randy and seeing his pictures, it's like, that's kind of changed my mind on that whole thing too, is whether they can or whether their hair is translucent to me. So they kind of fade into that depending on how the sun is, and they know how to use that. I tend to think they're from here, but there are times when you're walking and you're following tracks and it's like, where to go? There's the last one. I got a field. Where to go?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I do believe they can see the trail cams. Ones with the IR, because Lance and I put one out, and all we did was put it out for while we were in the woods. We were in the woods maybe 2 hours. We saw two huge ones, two huge faces. And then the camera took 2 pictures. Lance hasn't shared it with me yet, but then that area went dead for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There was nothing. They didn't touch peanut butter. They didn't touch any of the gifts, nothing for 2 weeks.
Which is also, something that we hear over and over. Yeah.
And that's what I will give a follow-up too, real quick.
Sure.
Since I've been deeper into the woods and not doing the peanut butter, they've been leaving the neighbors pretty much alone.
Okay.
So, thankfully I'll talk to the middle one, and he said, so far so good, so that's why I really don't want to try leaving other gifts, because I don't want to repeat of that.
I don't blame you. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, well, we want to thank you, Brian, again. And then when, if you have any updates, just message either one of us, and, and we can get you back on if you have any great evidence that you find. This has been so enjoyable. Thank you so much. You're a celebrity on the channel, so we had to.
Absolutely.
I'm just a gym rat, chase.
Brian, the scat master. I like that.
Oh Lord! And y'all had me fooled earlier. I thought y'all were going to show pictures and videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna.
I may do a lot of things, Chris, but I don't even know if I can do that.
No.
But you're more welcome anytime on the show. I always told you that.
Thank you, Evie, and thanks for being such a good sport. That was sorry that that you got. Oh, sorry, Brian, you got found out, but welcome to both of you, and thank you for sharing. Thank you, Brian, for being such a good sport too, because we just
absolutely thank you.
Yeah,
you guys are amazing, and I just appreciate it.
And around the world, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. We'll catch you on the next show. Bye, everybody.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Brian. Have a good night.